Thankfully, we are jumping straight in to the ban phase here for Clubhouse. Crest taking on FAV. Crest beginning on the defensive side, so they get first pick. And I'm intrigued to see what the dynamic may be here about this ban phase. They'll kick it off with a Monty, and we saw that in the first map.
There is one part that actually we didn't speak about, and it's my fault because I actually realized this and noticed it in my prep. But the fact that Choppy and Lou have only joined so recently, 8 days ago, is that something to keep in mind? Is that something to think about? At least for FAV, yes, they've had some changes, guys, obviously with Candy and Rachel coming in, but that was kind of back end of Feb-ish. So they've had a little bit more time to have scrims and have some practice and sort of gel together as a team. Obviously for Choppy and Lua, it's more recent. It's basically a week ago that you've joined this roster. Now you're playing a competitive game. You're playing a very important game too. I wonder if that's something that might just go the way of favor for FAV. Bans come out. Some intriguing ones like the Dockerby and the Montang, Kaid and Solus probably less so here on Clubhouse, but something to think about. Food for thought.
Yes, certainly is. You may see teams now having to lean back in towards operators like Mute, like Mozzie, in denying information with Solus taking no further part in this match. Interestingly enough, again, as Army does sneak through, has been causing issues so far throughout the evening, caused a lot of issues at SI, and with no changes heading into the first stage on an operator level, well, put 2 and 2 together, you can expect that trend to continue for now. Basement for the first site. Nook in play for the attack. And I don't mind this from FAV, right? Try to sneak around, get a couple of entries. I think the pressure here is really on FAV to establish themselves in this game. Put the heater on Crest a little bit and force them into moves. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're not necessarily wrong, but also I think for Crest it's a matter of how they're going to set up. So far, going off of the 2 games that we've seen, thus far, the defense is happy to really push out, extend, and get into those aggressive positions. And so therefore it actually puts the onus kind of onto Crest, not just sit back on site, not just sort of sit in those cornered positions. So I'm very curious. But to be fair, I think, yeah, you're right in a way as well, because what we've seen tonight is it doesn't really matter about defense, attack, doesn't matter what half it is. It's 50-50. Every round is so volatile, up for grabs. You need the attackers to be obviously on point, getting these, opening kills, winning those contact fights. Early engagements are so crucial in this region because the defenders do push out. Just like this, though. Ace Roller, he's out, he's in cash. This is a, basement site. The Nook is so important. Such a big win condition for FAV, knowing that if the defenders are pushing up, it's a basement site, but you got to play in cash. The Nook's so impactful for that. And it's a big opening kill for FAV.
Claire inside of Bar. Slightly strange position. If droned out, he will be in a lot of trouble. Oh. Well, he hasn't been spotted clearly, and he's made his way back to site with a kill in his pocket. That evens out the man count, 4 apiece. Moto hatch open though, as a result. Pressure now on Racel. We talked about him in the pre-show. Jumping onto this team, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Perhaps though recently not quite achieving what he would want on a personal level.
And I wasn't sure who was going to sort of make way for Rachel. Obviously, as I said, 6-man roster, but it's Shin that is seemingly out. Provided that is actually Sharon Echo on the Nook. A name that looks absolutely nothing like Sharon Echo. Minute left, 4 versus 4. Hero pushing through Secret over towards Blue. Nade went out, and there's the explosion of said Nade. There's one more in the back pocket. Throws it, runs, and looks to go over towards Pit. Don't mind this little rotate. Doesn't find anything on the initial drop. Instead pushes forward. There's a nice little fight with Lua, but Lua wins it. That's a big fight to have been won for Crest. Choppy as well. Keeps the advantage for the defenders. 30 seconds left, 3 versus 2.
Racel will be forced to drop here eventually. Afro as well will sync with the push through Blue. Some X-Kairos is sound coverage. Racial now peeking down, bot main, but these Kiba barriers are going to cause a lot of pain. Afro needs to win his fight in blue, but he doesn't. Racial's position known as they lock down long. Nice flick with the bearing 9. Force steep, taken down. Crest doing a really good job here in the first round.
Yeah, but again, both ways, I'm just staggered. I would love to be my more pessimistic self, but again, it's the early kill for FAV, right? Like, those are good signs to have. The Nook worked. You know, you got a defending team that's pushing up from basement, holding aggressive positions like Cash, and they're getting an early kill, playing into it well. So that's success. You're getting these little mini games that have been won. You're pushing with good time as well for Church Arsenal. Whereas sometimes teams end up, you know, how many times we've seen a kitchen drop, for example, 10 seconds left in the round. Now, that's just an awful attack whenever that ends up happening. But you didn't really see that from FAV. So you don't win the round, but there's good signs. Common theme of the night that we've seen so far from pretty much all of the teams. And therefore it does kind of fill me with hope, maybe, that FAV are going to be able to go back and forth here with Crest. Okay, and again, credit to Crest. A big fight over towards blue. I think that was a very pivotal win condition that did end up playing out. Lua wins that. Crest end up winning the round. They got the numbers, and therefore they were able to hold strong. Gym bedroom we go, second round. And it will be double hard bridge. The Maverick, again, is still so prominent in this Japanese region.
And the big question mark I still have for FAV is how are they going to deal with Azami? They're not bringing, for instance, a Habana, like use X-Kairos. They're not bringing the Flores, which we saw earlier tonight, to help clear it.
Got 4
They
nades.
do have 4 grenades, so yeah, that's probably okay. But you have to be pinpoint accurate with them. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and that's 4 nades as well, where you've then got ADSs elsewhere with Eclair. So it's a lot of your utility that's basically, you know, getting eaten up. It's kind of like the inadvertent nature of the Kiba barriers as well. It's kind of why they're so much better than Sawyer Gates, for example, right? Because Sawyer Gates eat up the utility, but they don't do much else after that. The Kiba barriers do a bit of both. You've got the cover, and they can eat up util. Zami's just an insane operator. Well, there goes one of the nades. Obviously, you got, and then you got to clear positions like, you know, top red, stairs, shields, for example. If there's shields and cash as well, Claire gets the opening kill, and then there goes your hard breach. Well, at least one of them. Maybe, well, it's not a bad idea to have a backup, but it's a Maverick hard breach too. You send him now to go to Jacuzzi Wall, open that up.
Yeah, maybe. At minimum, line of sight, just so there's a little bit of perceived pressure on that wall. That would at least be my preference. So Nico was just holding down below, watching that flank on the Yana. Again, here's that Azami in play. Choppy, full back. There's just so many positions that cannot be cleared until those barriers are dealt with. There's 1 grenade left. There's certainly more than 1 barrier left, I believe, so it's going to be tough. There's a mirror window as well from Logi facing in towards Con. Fortunately vacated, and they do have info on it, the attack. I guess all things considered, the time management actually not too bad. But Whiskey now able to start stalling out with those smoke canisters.
Yeah, but it's too one-dimensional. It's just the con push with a bit of pressure from the balcony, and yeah, maybe they go through logistics. Okay, this opens it up greatly. Big kill on Ace Roller. So now you've got a little bit of that logistics control. Top main, suddenly an area that you can actually attack, rather than just pushing through Con into bedroom. Choppy and Lua. Again, it's the 2 new additions, the 2 new boys. They did it in the opening round. They've done it once again in the second. Eclair falls, but with Choppy still alive on the Azami, and now Shiraneko low on health. Candy making a late run over, pushing into bedroom. 1 in gym. Oh, that's such a reinforced position. Not getting through that doorway. It's going to be an opening 2 rounds to go the way of Crest. And for the first time tonight, it's not 1-1 after 2 rounds.
And it doesn't feel like a match deserving of being particularly close either at the moment. I think Crest, from what we've seen in the first 2 rounds, are very much the team in control. FAV, as you described it, one-dimensional in their attack, no pressure, Jacuzzi. And FAV, their entire strategy there was to drone forward, have a rough idea where the players were, and then take straight head-to-head 1v1s, trying to swing for a small advantage, but realistically, none of those defenders are going to be caught off guard. None of those defenders are in particularly compromised positions, so Crest really just had to remain concentrated and aware. They did, and they were rewarded. We'll rotate now, and instead of going over to CCTV hash room for round number 3, we are heading downstairs to bar. Quite a complex objective for defenders to set up a reliance on a lot of map control up above CCTV and cache, then falling back to the vertical that is established inside of bedroom. And as much as it's a difficult site and a complex site to set up and defend, it can be very tricky for the attack as well to think about all those win conditions throughout a round and doing a good job in clearing out some of these defenders. I'm quite intrigued to see how this does play out. It's a really good test for the systems that these two teams had, and that was the talking point going into this match. Clubhouse really does a great job in defining who's good and who's not.
Especially with sites like bar stage as well, where you don't see it that often and you're prepared for it, both offensively and defensively. I mean, I think anytime we see it come out, it's sort of like, well, the defenders have got to be well versed in and understanding as to what they're doing. If they're bringing it out, it's up to then the attackers get kind of a freebie here. But you said it's just that kind of site that, yeah, you might feel like you're in a position that you know what you're doing, but you've got so much that you've got to do. Very easy to just let one part of it slip, and suddenly before you know it, attackers have just overwhelmed you. Above, below, on site. Curious to see how Crest are going to play this. Playing into those cams, you got the echo as well for Yokai. So information is what you're going to be able to gain from a lot of this. Even the goo mines as well out of Eclair. Just a little bit of intel wherever you can find it. And then you've got the regen utility from Lua and Ace Roller. The magnets. And never mind. Nice. It's just going to be a double kill from FAV. A very, very open kind of site, really, that you've got to play above, you've got to play on site, you've got to play below. You just get stretched thin. And every time I see this bloody site, guys, I always say, why? Why would you pick it? Every single time. I wanted to give Crest the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to pump it up as, you know, if you go into bar, you know what you're doing. You got a plan, and every time it just never works.
You're gonna blow a gasket.
Oh, I just don't know what. Perfect start, dream start, 2-0. You got cash and CCTV to go to, and you hit. I just don't get it. Wasted time, wasted round.
I could sense your frustration. Yes, that was really not great there from the defense. Crest pinched up above. FAV, to their credit, applying really good pressure and holding those crossfires accordingly. We saw it from Rosal's perspective, of course, on the rappel, and he was primed and ready as those players were forced out. Bit of util, bit of pressure. A 2-1 rotation, though, I don't think on a clubhouse defense really is particularly devastating.
Well, the thing is, though, you want to play it like kitchen dining on Chalet, right? But kitchen dining on Chalet is a lot more closed in. It's a little bit harder to just sort of run into the site. There's so many angles and so many avenues to just run into bar stage compared to something like kitchen dining. So you really want to defend up above gym bedroom, but you're so stretched thin, and then you're opening up to, you know, the rappels and the windows and the belt. Like, it's really difficult. It's a really difficult site.
Yes, on that point I agree. But we don't have to worry about that now for at least a little while as we go back down to basement for round number 4. Been a heavy reliance of Mirror throughout this evening amongst multiple Japanese teams in this league. They're all Japanese, we are in the Japan League, but Mirror falling out of fashion a little bit elsewhere, so certainly an interesting trend to follow. Ooh, don't mind this though. Nook sneaking forward. Uneko, seeing what he could find, takes down the default at bar and could swing main stairs, but is he looking the right way? Will he play first contact? Oh, maybe not either, as Eclair gets lit up. Not as much as I would have expected, but eventually, shut down.
Yeah, really nice shot. So suddenly a little bit of life now into FAV. They get a freebie round, and this is what you can do. You give them a freebie, and suddenly they get a bit of confidence from that, because that second round was so clinical from Crest. Now FAV have got themselves sort of back into this game. All of a sudden, it's a lot more even. And that's only the one kill onto a Claire, but again, it's another good sign from FAV that they can deal with the roam. They can deal with a bit of pressure up above. Crest now to sort of fall back to site, which worked well for them in the opening round. But there are those similarities there kind of now reaping through. That Crest's ability on sites like Church Arsenal Clubhouse to stretch up above, top floor. Maybe it's not quite there to what we saw in the Scars Northeption game.
Andy now can come across and open up vertical lines of sight with Sledgehammer. 2 grenades in pocket as well. Those can be used to clear out a couple of players and or keep barriers, which will continue to be a threat. Habana may be able to deal with those after opening up these hatches. Vertical as well here from Afro. A player though has snuck through, spotted, able to escape. Nitro lands there onto Candy. That's one vet player dealt with. Hatch now being opened up by FAV. Progress not too shabby, a 4 versus 4, so pretty stable at this point for both teams. Again though, I'm gravitating towards Shirineko to make a play here on the Nook. He's looked dangerous so far, 7-2, and in this round really has oozed confidence.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, but yeah, okay, he drops down into motor now, and obviously not really going to be fully aware of this. They'll be watching it though. It just has to time this perfectly. It has to be prepared to basically pre-fire, because there's only 20 seconds left. So everyone with FAV has to push elsewhere. I don't know where this angle is going to be. It looks like just main stairs position. And as we get off of it, he loses his life to the shotgun of Whiskey up close on the mute. Not too much of a surprise. Lua again has had some, only 3 kills, now 4 though. They've been so critical. Lua and Choppy, you know, they're not getting the flashy kills early in the rounds, but they're getting those late round on-site defensive clutch kills that are basically winning you rounds. So Crest back into the winners list again, and that's twice that FAV have got the opening pick on a basement site defense, and they've not been able to do anything with the 5-on-4 advantage.
The keeper barriers. Keeper barriers. They need to be better dealt with here by the defense. That one at long posed issues. Stopped any possibility of bringing back that round. It's probably already, to be fair, lost at that point, but still just making things awkward. I just am not convinced that FAV are bringing the right tools to deal with what Crest are presenting. And yeah, with Thatcher still available, banning out Hayid as opposed to maybe something like the Army and that utility that they're struggling to deal with, maybe is coming back to fight them here a little bit in this half.
It definitely has all of the hallmarks of being our first game tonight, where it's not going to be that back and forth, where it's not going to be that really close contest that I think Crest have had the edge so far. There's been good moments from FAV, their ability to get those opening kills, deal with some roamers. That's been their success, but I feel like that's where it stops. Only round win being basically a throwaway round from Crest. And again, you know, as I sort of touched on earlier when in the ban phase, it's been 8 days since Choppy and Lua joined the roster. Choppy's got 5, Lua's up to 4. Like, they have really fitted in seamlessly.
Oh. They've looked really sharp so far, and seems like everything's clicking into place slowly but surely. Here's the Flores though. I asked for it and I received. We are going to finally see the Flores now in play. Those Roteros great in clearing the utility presented by the defense. Deployable shield, keep barriers. All very annoying, very powerful in this current state of the game. Grenade from below doesn't land. That's behind the box inside of Cash. Not being played though, not occupied. Shirineko just lurking again to make a play. He's looked dangerous, but not unbeatable. Live drone
I like this though.
The stairs. This is really good aggression and rewarded.
Yeah. Well, it's more than just a live drone too. It's a bloody full-blown Rotero that you're pushing with. So you know that the player top red has to kind of deal with that. That's a really, really smart play from FAV. And again, though, it's another opening kill. So this is where the success has been. And we can applaud it all we like. But doing just this is not going to get you the round wins alone. Now you've got to convert. So the conversion has been off a little bit in some of these rounds. But again, they've got themselves into this position. And if you keep getting yourself into this position, eventually it's going to work. In this case, now gym bedroom, 5 versus 4. You've dealt with the player top red. You've got cash. You can get con from here. Get a little bit. But the only issue here is time, though. 45 seconds left. So again, they don't have time to get Jacuzzi. They don't have time to have anything other than just a one-dimensional push. A little bit of pressure from logistics, which the Gemini goes through now. Gets shot at. You know there's pressure in logistics. So it's logistics and it's con push. I mean, this is, again, just too one-dimensional.
Yeah, there needs to be a pincer. There needs to be pressure elsewhere. 20 seconds now on the clock. FAV set themselves. Yeah,
wow.
Isolated, but they still
How have they won
push
this?
through. I don't know, but it looks like the plan's going to be going down. There's no nitro for denial. Lua, top main, 2 versus 4. Might be winnable here on the retake.
It's the two new boys, Lua and Choppy. Choppy, though, down. Lua tries to respond. Spots one to his right. No, this is one behind the flip mattress. Wow, that was messy. But I tell you what, FAV, to their credit, pushing through a choke point like that doorway in towards bedroom, while smoked as well. And you find 2 kills. Well done. That is a really, really high-pressured situation to be in. And to come out on the other side and find success speaks volumes to their testament as a team. Yeah, it probably wasn't ideal. Yeah, they would love that pincer, like you said, Gus. Maybe a bit more main stairs pressure, even if you're not getting Jacuzzi. Coming up main stairs is still really, really important. But hey, if you can just push through that choke point, find a couple of kills. Just whatever.
They'll win it this time. They'll win it this time just for you. Don't worry.
They better. They honestly better. Same lineup as well. They got exactly the same composition. The Bulk, the Echo, along with the Legion, Wamai and Azami. Yeah. If you're going to do this, you know what I actually would bring is like a castle and just sort of barricade off some of the...
Yep.
Yeah.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. Bring castle up above, at least alleviate some of the pressure there on the pinch so that you're not getting caught off guard on the balcony. You can also use castle barricades to diminish the chances of a lurk entry because there are so many ways to enter this objective. So it's certainly raising an eyebrow, my eyebrow, as to why they're going back here, 1, and 2, doing it with the exact same composition. And FAV are probably looking at this and maybe licking their lips a little bit, going, hey, I think Crest are giving us an in back into this match.
Oh, I mean, they're already back into this match with their really good shooting performance at the end of the last round. It's a strange feeling, this one. It probably doesn't feel like on paper that it should be this close with the way the game itself has played out. The way the rounds are ending. And the way that Crest have elected to go back to bar stage. I mean, it is giving FAV a really good look in at a 3-3 half on Clubhouse. You know, in other regions, pretty defender sided. Typically 4-2 is the kind of margin that you would find yourself in as a defending team at the end of the half. Great chill over towards Jacuzzi. Gets a drone on the other side. Okay, this one's fine. Open it up. So again, pressure above, and obviously the way that Crest are gonna try and play this is almost like it's a gym bedroom defense. You want to keep that presence above. But if you lose these early contact fights, if FAV get a 5-on-3, you can then just overwhelm site, and it becomes too difficult as the defenders. You stretch so thin at that point.
Oh, they're already starting to fall back, so that's gym forfeited. Top main stairs, I'm not sure being contested either here by the defense. So FAV doing a good job at the halfway
Wasted
point
barrier
of this round. Yeah. Whiskey needs to be careful. He cannot cross this. You know, he thinks better of it. Wise choice. There's the passive cross being held by Afro. Lua elects to peek it. Take it down, or just survives.
Why are you peeking that though? You don't really need to.
I think they're scared that they need a rotation back out because look at the control FAV is taking right now on the vert. Lines of sight. Crest are in a pretty awful position.
I was going to say, why is there was no rotation top red stairs until just then. Just got open then. Like that was not in place for Crest. So that's why, yeah. That's a little bit concerning that they've kind of forgotten about that one. Now they've finally got the rotation to top red stairs. Afro getting so much vision down below, and there is that 5 versus 3. There is that defense getting stretched thin. Crest just looks scared to do anything here on the defense. Finally, Whiskey over towards Secret finds a kill onto Afro, but Rachel's already on site. The Yokai.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's not ideal from Whiskey. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Plants down. So even that kind of win condition, when you bring in the Echo and you've got the Yokai drones, that's really what you're bringing it for. That doesn't go your way either. There's no chance now that they're going to be able to win this one because you've basically got to clear above. You have to clear above. Wow. That's a half, in my opinion, that's gone wasted for Crest.
I would agree. FAV did play that offside of bar really well on both attacks. We cannot fault them on that. They got great control,
definitely played
great
well.
pressure. But Crest did gift them those rounds. Going there once is forgivable, fair enough, sure.
Yeah,
Going there a second time with the exact same composition, and in fact probably making even more mistakes than the last time, really, really frustrating. 3-3 now the scoreline, and FAV, perhaps going into this match with pretty mild expectations, may now be like, guys, let's really lock in. This is actually a very serious chance for us getting some points because Crest are dropping the ball.
Yeah, very much winnable if you're FAV now. You're right in it, right up to your eyeballs. And some concerning things for Crest. Ace roller 0 and 5 needs to get a wriggle on, get involved. I think Choppy and Lua have been honestly their best players. I mean, that's concerning if you're Crest that 2 guys have come in and immediately they're your best performing players. Not a good look. And you know, when you're thinking about sort of these site choices, well, that's a team decision or a coached decision. So there's some questionable decision making going on from Crest when it comes to the raw fragging and like player skill level between the 2 respective rosters. Crest, I think, have been better, but I think FAV are just playing the map better right now, and we'll see if that continues here into the second half. For all I know, they too will go and decide to pick bar stage at this point. I'm almost half expecting it, guys.
Expect the unexpected. That should probably be the motto of the league. If anyone steals that, you can trace it back to me. Choppy. Decent position here inside of Garage. We anticipate him to be the player tasked with pushing blue in the late round. Ace Roller as well may also be in a position to make a play on the entry. Afro at bar. Well, he falls back. Wise decision to keep barriers in tow, and he'll have a third in a moment, so he'll want to try and get those out before dying. That would be optimal. So Afro, this is where you go down the stairs, you place your barricades, your barriers, and then you come back. Don't die. I think he's still playing this position. I mean, that's okay. He does have some support. Okay, he falls off. Good. Getting a little bit nervous there. I don't want to see any more as armies dying early on in these rounds.
Suddenly it's anyone's game, anyone's map at this point. Have a team that, you know, we all thought maybe would be more towards the bottom of their respective group, but they're finding a way. And even if Crest have made some questionable decisions, you've still got to capitalize, and they've been able to do that. 11 and 4. I'm sure Aneko as well has been an absolute clear standout. So if that continues now on the wall eye on the defense. So far, no initiation here from Crest. A little bit stagnant. Bit of main stairs. Lua trying to push down, get stroned, but now the Salma can go out looking to open up this wall. Just under a minute remaining. And he's obviously going to be able to put some pressure sort of back over towards FAV, especially Rachel on the mirror.
Oh, yeah, good impact EMP. Mute jammer on the wall. Disabled for a moment, so that mirror is now exposed. Rachel elects to go prone underneath the wall. 30 seconds on the clock, but it's FAV to get the first kill. That's over towards blue, and that's a lot of pressure alleviated now for the defense.
Yeah, Lurk from Secret does not fall out for Choppy. Falls. Claire, though. Intriguing little angle that's found and catches Europe. So they've actually been able to push into blue at the very least, but, well, I mean, the round's over. That's it. One got disconnected there. The rest just fell. Obviously, no time here at all for Eclair. So FAV Gaming are going to take the lead for the first time in this game, guys. What a turnaround.
And after the start that Crest had, it's very weird that we're seeing them rather now in this position at a deficit, not playing the best brand of Siege. They've made a couple of pretty key macro decisions and objective decisions throughout this match, and it seems to just be creeping in a little bit more. That last round, a good example. The blue push was forfeited. They actually were ultimately trying to triple stack blue, despite having Church Wall completely open. To me, that is just a little bit peculiar. Now, there was a disconnect, so that doesn't help, but they weren't going to win the round anyway, or they shouldn't have been poised to win the round anyway. But for FAV, wow. Did not expect them to be in this position. Arguably one of the teams that have been through the most difficult of times in the last 12 to 24 months. But today, it feels like everything is pretty much going their way. Any 50-50 is going their way. Any mistakes from Crest are being capitalized upon.
Yeah. And I think that's where you can probably give FAV all of the accolades at the moment. Anytime that they've been given an opportunity, they've taken it. You know, the bar stages rounds in the first half, you take a couple of opportunities on the defense, well, in that round on the defense there. I think they've been good. I've been impressed. I'll even say that they've taken the lead now. It could have been very easy to just sort of roll over, say it's a bit too difficult, a bit too hard, things not going away. And yeah, Crest gave them a look in. But in fairness, FAV have just taken it with both hands and run away with it now. 4-3. So this tech pause honestly comes at a really good time for Crest. Obviously it didn't help because they lost a player in that round, which round that they could have maybe still won. Claire had a good position in blue. You win a couple of cheeky little 1v1s and maybe there's a chance, but you lose that extra player and it makes it so much more difficult. Time was a factor though too. And suddenly the scoreboard very much reflects that this game has just shifted. It still hasn't quite been that back and forth nature, but it's more like this for the first time tonight. Momentum based. Started off with Crest and then now FAV's got a bit of momentum themselves. So out of the tech pause, does Crest find a way to regain some of that momentum? Gym bedroom for the 8th round. And I think they will go double hard breach. What I'd like to see though, Kennels, Jacuzzi, open them both up. Get that pincer going. Bit of main stairs pressure if you can as well. Really try and stretch that defense. Go from as many angles as possible.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's been a lot of what I would describe front-on contact in this match, where attacking teams are really relying on swings with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of util to find picks, as opposed to maybe being able to pinch a player here or there or catch a player in a crossfire. Maybe slightly more comfortable for these teams, but I don't think the strike rate in the long term is going to be great. See what happens. Kennel's wall up first. Raisel is looking to bandit trick though. Bit of pressure from the window. A precarious position for the bandit. And Raisel thinks better of it and just runs away. Eclair though still waiting to place the exothermic. Eventually will. Oh, good angle from CCTV, but it doesn't land and chop is fired.
This is a really important round though for Crest. This gets away from them. It goes 3-5. I don't know if they're going to be able to get back into this one. Mentally, probably too. And I'll really only have themselves to blame. That was a cheeky angle from Lua. Sure, Neko probably annoyed that he's just taking a bit of that chip damage. Euro 2 also adding a bit of a chunk. No deaths just yet. No real formal engagements either. Chopping over towards CCTV. And just pressure FAV out of cash. 1.5 remaining. I mean, I don't hate this from Crest, putting a lot of emphasis on just trying to clear out these con cash positions, get that balcony control. If they've got good presence from the windows, really solid presence from the windows, you get into logistics, you come through the doorway. That's not so bad. You know, even FAV didn't really have as much balcony control themselves. It was really just doorway and logistics.
Attackers have located a bomb.
60 seconds then. And we do see the rotation there from Lua on the Habana as Whiskey preps on Logistics Hatch. So there's window presence, there's hatch presence, control and con. Crest in a very good position now. It's just about getting it across the line. Candy falls. Again, that was Whiskey on the hatch. And Jaeger's down below.
Ooh.
The attack have information on this as well, so that leaves 3 on site. They should be able to trade it out.
Yeah, he can literally just walk up red stairs. Is anyone watching that at this point? Yes, they are. It's choppy. Nitrosol though from Rachel lands. So Ace Roller never even gets to make an appearance in the last 20 seconds of this round. It's set up though for a real nail biter. 3 versus 3, and there's shots that go both ways. Diffuser down into the doorway. Only Lua left. A couple of big time shots out from Fav, Afro, and Rachel versus Lua. Lua has to grab Kit and stick it, but watching is one in Jim. No time. Goes for the swing, goes for the kill. Actually, pretty could have stuck the plant. Regardless, there was not a lot of time anyway, and at that point, once you stick it, obviously the last defender's just going to beeline it straight for bedroom. 5-3. Oh, what a coin flip round, and it goes the way of Fav.
Crest calling a timeout in response, and one they desperately need to try and halt this momentum. They had all the pieces of the puzzle lined up. A 5 versus 4, Jaeger on an island down below in lounge. That should have been easy to deal with, but Fav just kept on fighting. A great nitro from Rachel. Some real wrap positions being held behind the chassis and gym, underneath the logistics hatch, for instance, that Crest didn't read into, didn't have information on. Fav just making it work. Doesn't look pretty, it doesn't look particularly great, but they're mounting rounds on the scoreboard, and now they've run away from match point.
Yeah, crazy. Definitely hasn't quite gone to the script, hasn't gone to plan. Maybe we've undervalued Fav, maybe we've undervalued the pickup of Candy, and obviously Rachel, you know, really good player, and we knew that that was going to be the case. You know, and it's interesting because I said with this roster they actually need to be contending. I just didn't really have them actually contending. And when you kind of get this kind of performance as well from Shiraneko, you add in Rachel, and Candy's played well, and obviously you know that Afro and Yura are really solid players. You actually maybe start to open your eyes a little bit, guys. And I'm definitely going to put my hand up and say maybe I've got this one wrong. But I also don't want to go too early. It's 3-5, Crest off the back of a timeout.
Hey, guess what the objective we're going to?
No.
First floor?
No. What? Why? Like, can you explain it to me, guys, please?
Well, I mean, the theory is that at the moment, CCTV and Cash is just very, very challenging to hold as the defense. That said, Monty is banned, so Rafters isn't theoretically as challenging to defend. That does often force teams into con, which isn't arguably as great. I still think overall,
how hard is it though with his army on a Rafters position?
Yeah,
how hard is it to?
I would still say overall, I would back in garaged and leading into CCTV to be easier to defend than Bar. Bar is incredibly, Bar is incredibly complex. And we've seen the weaknesses already. We've seen it twice from Crest and their inability to hold, especially up above where they got choked out by that pressure.
I do have the castle.
Yes.
We were saying that. And I obviously the Valkyrie I think is really good as well. The Maestro as well. I think with the bulletproof camera, maybe there's an opportunity there to get a little more intel. So they've got a very different lineup. They're actually looking at this very differently to what Crest did. I think Crest's lineup was also a big factor for why it didn't work.
Yeah. I think it was fundamentally flawed from the beginning. We'll see though with this composition if there is a little bit more success to be had. Cash extension. I don't think there's any defenders actively holding it though, so okay, that's free real estate. Choppy will just walk in and say thanks for that. Yep, that's pretty much free. On up next, of course. Ball being opened up by the ace Selma. Valkyrie taken very low. Shiraneko, 14 kills in this game so far, so he'll want to stay alive for a little bit longer. Lua now on the balcony with those claymores. I'm intrigued as to where the castle barricades exactly were prepped. Perhaps they'll come into play a little bit later on in this round, but Lua, player to watch here, posted up. He can cut off a lot of these angles, a lot of these lines of sight. We'll see just how much of an impact he can have.
Match point on the other side of this round for FAV. If they can just sort of ward off this attack from Crest, if they can actually hold this site. Minute left, just over. He's still inside of Cash. In over towards bedroom through Con. Whiskey on the move. So definitely starting to draw their attention more so towards the site, less so to dealing with above. And with a more direct approach, the Shiraneko has just taken themselves out. Not ideal for the top fragger in this lobby. There's 14-7 now rather than 14-6. 40 seconds left. Then you lose Candy. Now it's all starting to fall apart for FAV. Eclair just pushes in. Gonna get the plant down. No one is able to stop it. It is successful. It is another bar round, guys, where I'm left shaking my head.
Attackers need to protect the defuse.
Oh no. Just doesn't seem to be the play here in Japan League so far. And just like Crest did, FAV giving their opponents a look in on this objective.
Stop it! Bad Japanese teams. Bad Japanese teams. Stop it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I ever want to see this site played again. At least not by these two.
Let me get the newspaper and give them a whack. Yeah, no, that's 3 for 3 in terrible defending. To be fair, I don't actually mind the approach there, actually, either from Crest to just go for a bit more of a direct, go for the plant early, less so of a worry about having to like trade up above, clear out bedroom. But it's just a freebie. So FAV kind of give one of the freebies back over to Crest. I don't think we'll be seeing that site again, surely. I said that last time though, and I was proven wrong. 4-5. It's so strange though, because I think outside of that site, we've seen some good siege. But that site, if we were to just contain the 3 rounds we've seen of that site, I never want to watch siege ever again.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
Attackers'
yeah.
objective is to locate
It wasn't
a bomb
great.
and defuse it.
Oh well, we're back to good siege now. Round 10. Back down to basement. Shiraneko with a pre-ripped nitro looking up the garage door. Choppy needs to be very, very careful. Nitro still in hand. Choppy pushing through. Wait for the default. Throws it out. And it lands!
Wow.
Oh my word, Shiraneko. Great opening pick. And Choppy left to sit on drones for the rest of the round.
I think that's what he wanted to do the last round with the impact grenade, but obviously just blew himself up instead. This time actually takes out the opponent. So Choppy's take it out. That's top fragger as well. Crest eliminated the Yana player. Someone that's going to give you a bit of entry power late in the round. And you get one, you can just fall back now. If I'm FAV, I'm just sitting on side at this point, holding anchor positions. Always the way we see probably the more successful rounds play out for Church and Arsenal. You kind of sneak up, you try and find one. If it's successful, you know, typically it's around maybe main stairs. You rush back down main stairs, and then you just sort of sit on site. And it's pretty much similar there from FAV and from Shiraneko. Yeah, you can give them the floorboards, give them the soft breaches, that's fine. Nitrocell doesn't hit the mark there. That one from Euro, I think. But yeah, ultimately it's job done. Now you just got to hope that Crest don't play the time well. They eventually force to just drop kitchen hatch or something, or rushing through main. They can't hit their shots, and then all of a sudden, then it's match point. It's that close.
Lua now will post up at the bottom of main stairs and look to open up this mirror window facing stairs. FOL Swig got a pick. Now she's back consolidating positions for the defense. Racial risky does make it out. 60 seconds on the clock. You can post up and deny Church. That key barrier offering nice coverage, and Crest now need to try their best to isolate a pick or two, but nothing really presenting itself at the moment. There is a little bit of information.
Oh my.
That's nice. The swing. Oh, cut down. 40 seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't for that nitrocell. I think Lua was about to go on a bit of a rampage. Eclair, Whiskey.
A bomb has
Bit of a tough one now over towards Blue. Eclair's actually just pushed in, going for the plant. Why not? No one's going to be able to stop it straight away. Candy doesn't see the angle. Neither does Shiraneko. So it's a 2 versus 2 at a post plant now, but they get the initial kill. Now it's a 1 versus 1. Shiraneko has 15. Needs to find Eclair for 16. Over towards main stairs and has actually got a vert position. Or does he? Is he aware of this?
Oh, no.
The flash. If Shiraneko sticks this, he gets off it. He get off it when Bro got the kill. Wait, they've traded. What?
And Crest win it.
Crest won the round.
Oh my word. I
What?
cannot believe that was a trade. I can't believe he went for the flashbang. I can't believe
He got off
Junega
it?
got off it. Wow. 5-5 the scoreline.
Oh
And-
my.
This is the most beautiful, chaotic siege I have witnessed in a while.
Oh, this is the APAC creeping in to Japan. It's back,
APAC never
baby.
died. It never
APAC
died.
by attack.
still here. Oh my. Oh, entertaining. Entertaining. 5-5 again for the 3rd game in a row, guys. It's 5-5.
We're gonna get 45 rounds in the first 3 maps. It's gonna happen. I'm feeling it.
Oh. If we go to overtime, if we go to 45 minutes, I swear to God. Sorry, 45 rounds. Oh.
Yeah, it would actually be insane.
I don't know what
Well.
time it is for Jacob, but I'm sure he was probably planning to have a nap by now and have a bit of a break. Instead, we've still got one more full game to go after this. 4 best of 1s, they say. That won't be too long, they say.
I thought we would be done about an hour ago, but we're not even through the 2nd map. Insane. Not even through the 3rd map, rather. I should clarify. If you have
Well,
just joined us,
Who's it up to now to just win this game? I honestly don't know who's really in control of this match anymore.
no one's in control. It's just pure chaos at this point, I think, to be completely honest. Very
I feel
hard
like-
to say.
A big win condition for Fab has been Shiraneko. At that point, once you see 16 and 8 on a player, it does kind of lend into that fact that if they're winning rounds, it's probably from him. Whereas obviously for Crest, it's a bit more spread thin, unless you're Ace Roller, who still is on a donut, might I add. I don't know how, through all these chaotic rounds, guys, a lot of back and forth, he's on a donut still.
Yeah. I felt a bit like that last night when I was playing ranked. This wasn't my night. And you have those days, but you've just got to try and have an impact. And Buck, to be fair, is an operator where you can at least have some kind of impact by opening up line to side and whatnot. And finding information. Yura has been spotted by the drone on the hatch. Ace Roller, this is your chance to get a kill, please.
Flash 1, Flash 2, and peek. And
Oh,
stolen by
no!
Eclair! It's
What
stolen!
is that? I can't believe you've done that.
Oh no. Well, there's no time to be messing around though. This is not a ranked game. Afro trying to just reposition back over to site. They're down a player. They've lost their Mozzie. They've lost Yura. And Crest, they're coming for the minute 20 left. Pressure above now. They've got full kitchen control. Eclair with the diffuser in hand. Ace Roller's kill will have to wait a little bit longer.
Advantage for Crest. Rotation now over towards kitchen. I was going to say dirt, but maybe that will be a little bit later on the round if it's not already opened up. The player being very conservative here, making sure that he gets these X-Kairos down.
Oh my,
There's
what a
Candy.
shot.
Fully aware of that pressure from dirt, denies it. And the drone. I don't know if Crest will elect to try and retake that position. If they're looking for a hatch drop, it's probably wise. Nonetheless, though, keeps this round interesting.
Yeah, I think this puts it back into the favor of Fav. I think this is going to be almost like a forced drop for Crest. Okay, into boards blue. Initial shots. Just kind of swerving past Choppy. Finds the kill onto Rachel, who just decided to peek on through. Shiraneko very low. Shiraneko with a massive nitrocell. Ace Roller's got 1 and 2 just
Yes!
like that. Goes up 200%. Oh, and Crest have got match point. Ace Roller rolls on through sight. Only gets the kills when they matter the most, guys.
He is that guy. He is that guy. Not only did he have a really good drone at the start of the round, because that Mozzie could have flipped it. Then, of course, doing a good job in the late round. And all around, a good execute there from Crest. Can't look past the drop down as well through blue. Well played. I think that was choppy again there on the Yana in that last round.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really sharp because, again, that was another 50-50 engagement. If they lose it and lose control of Generator, it would not have put them in a good position. But you can relax. You can relax. So for those of you who don't know, there is a fourth objective on Clubhouse. It is CCTV and cash.
Yeah, we don't see it often.
So that's nice. Yeah.
Something different. Look, and look, this is going to play out, you would imagine, the way it should. Afro, rafters, with the keeper barriers. And teams have started kind of double stacking a little bit to just add that extra sort of defensive layer to Garage, but then that opens up issues elsewhere.
10 seconds to insertion.
I don't know, like, why teams would be pushing away from this. Shield top red stairs, surely you just go with that. Rafters old. It's always been a site that I think has done well. And if you want to mix it up a little bit, maybe a bit more con presence, or down below, obviously, there's typically battles around Lounge, for example, to try and just make it a little bit harder for the attacking team to clear out Rafters' position in Garage. There's things you can do rather than go bar. And even this from Shiraneko on a Legion, loitering around inside a kitchen. This is interesting.
Oh, no. But
That's
hey,
that's
he's going
strap.
17-9. He has the license to do whatever the hell he wants at this point.
Yep.
And far and away the most impactful fragger in the game.
If I was doing that, though, you'd be saying, Xenox, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, but you have never gone 17-9 in a game in your life.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you would be allowed to, no.
9 and 17, yes. Close enough. Because he opened up.
17 team kills, maybe.
Bit of information found onto Yura. Just lingering around bedroom, opening kill. Guess what? It's the Legion sitting inside a kitchen. Oh, just drops down. I mean, this is just beautiful siege, isn't it, from Shiraneko? 18-9, doing whatever he likes inside of the server. Lua finds the kill onto Candy, takes out the mute. Lua now up to 12 kills. Another one there onto Yura. So Crest just opening up this defense. Are they actually about to win this 7-5? I did say my prediction was a 7-4, 7-5, guys. It could be on the cards here, unless Shiraneko has something else to say about it. Don't count them out yet. He's still on the roam, and he finds another one. Choppy falls to the roaming Legion, who's going down main stairs. This is a cash and CCTV site. 3 versus 3. He's on the move. You don't know where he's going to pop up next.
Oh, I anticipate he's going to make his way over towards Secret, then up red. In prime position for when this push comes through. Great drone from Ace Roller, though. Good info. He'll have a read. He'll know that there's probably 2 on side. I assume he spotted both. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Both Claymores down. It was heard. There's a player on the roof that's watching this. I'm almost certain.
Oh, no
Drops
way.
down. A Claire.
No way.
Looks
It doesn't
away.
happen. I don't even know who wins this at this point, because Shiraneko is 19-9 and primed to drop 20. They know there's one in Garage, though, so they maybe look to reconvene. He moves over towards Lounge. And all this is at least done is just buy some time here for Fab on the defensive side. It means that Crest are coming in a little bit late. Exothermic charge goes off. 3 versus 3. Ace Roller over towards Con. They've got at least that pincer. They've got that presence from both sides. Red Stairs has got 2. Lewis still outside running around. He doesn't know which way to go at this point. Nade in hand for Ace Roller. Afro with the kill onto Lua. Where is Shiraneko, though? They don't even maybe need him at this point. Eclair just goes straight in. Still got to clear Rafters. They haven't even done that. Play it prone. It is Shiraneko on the Legion. Stands up. Goomine. That's going to be active now. 4 seconds left. Shot from Rafters. Yes, we are indeed going to overtime. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's overtime again. Fuck.
It's the Overtime League for Japan 2023. Once more, 3 maps straight. And a match that really didn't feel like it should have gone to OT, at least at the very, very start, where Crest were dominating, has now gone the distance. And Shiraneko has taken his entire team and put them on his shoulders.
42 rounds, guys, of Siege has been played. The amount of rounds of Siege that we've had that could be played is 42. Every single round possible has been made true. 6-6, overtime for the 3rd time today.
I don't know whether I should laugh or cry at this point. But hey, it's close and competitive, so we cannot complain. Defense for FAV. Able to just crawl their way back into this game. Bedroom defense to kick things off here. And an extension, an aggressive one at that through Cash. Zami again will be played. He's been so influential in this match. You combo it with the mirror. And in fact, a mirror from Cash facing into CCTV. There are a couple of ways that can be dealt with. Namely down below. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Crest approach from below, but gotta be careful because there is a roamer lurking.
Well, here we go one more time. And Claire just trying to open up kennels. This gaming, I really thought they had it. I thought they were going to finish this one off 7-5, but FAV are not going to back down lightly. And one thing I will say at the very least, it really does highlight how close this league is. We said it at the very beginning of the show, at the top of the bloody broadcast. Whiskey with the kill onto Candy. That's a big kill. That's a smoke off the board. So Crest in a really good position with that. Choppy low on health. Not ideal for a player that's been so influential. And there goes Shiraneko. We'll talk about influence. Lua and Choppy. Well, making quick work of this round. FAV's defense has been just taken apart. I don't think Afro will survive much longer here either. And suddenly, it looks like it will be overtime match point for Crest. Flawless round, clean as you like.
Oh, I look down, I look up. The round is over. That Cash extension, definitely not the play there from FAV. Cut down and exploited by Crest, who now have a pretty big decision on their hands as to what site they elect to go to here. Bit of a toss-up between bedroom and basement, I would presume. I doubt at this point they're going to bring CCTV or bar back out. Certainly won't be bar. And it will in fact be basement. Bandit and Toe as well from Eclair, so I presume this will be an extension and the Bandit is for Kenner's Wall? We'll have to wait and see. A couple of different options available here for the defense, but a good confident round to kick off overtime, which is always a nice feeling.
Does this go to 15 round? At this point, you may as well. I think at this point, it would actually probably be cruel not to go to the 15th round. May as well just keep it going.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
14 out of 15 rounds. This just does not have the same ring to it, guys. It doesn't have the same meaning.
Yeah, we've come this far.
Yeah, I mean, we're at this point. We're in overtime. Yeah, may as well just go 15 rounds. Why not? Yeah, get on with it. Come on. Come on, FAV. Get it done. And I think they can actually as well.
Yep.
Double hard breach. Shiraneko, roaming around on the attack. And there's a chance that Crest might get caught on the roam. And it is exactly how it's played out. Ace Roller on the roam, gets caught. Really good positioning from Shiraneko, knowing that he's inside a CCTV after Kennels has been opened up. Tries to make the cross back, gets the kill. Done. That's one. Now you've got an advantage for the rest of the round. 5-on-4. They've got the numbers that they can just sort of overwhelm on site. Double hard breach. They can open up everything quickly as well. I expect that eventually Shiraneko might go main, look to open up triple wall. And they should get it freely too.
Plenty of time remaining here for the attack. Droning ahead, scouting, making sure that it's safe. Options available as Crest begin to filter back. Of course, at the disadvantage, perhaps now feeling the need to make a play in this round. But that may be better served later on. Choppy does escape. Down through Moto. Drone's now prepared to ensure no one retakes. And now it's up to the Vert players in Afro to get in alongside Candy. Open up these hatches and prepare for the push.
Minute 12 seconds left. Shironeko, 20 and 11. This is a little bit late though for Afro to be doing any kind of meaningful work inside a kitchen. Minute left. You know, you kind of probably want to be in there a little bit earlier. Eclair though, holding a very important device. It's a nitro cell. If this lands, it really does bring things back for Crest. There's a couple lurking and roaming now inside a kitchen. He's held on to this. He's been patient. He throws it out. He gets one onto Rachel. So the thermite gone. They've opened up that kitchen hatch. So hatches have been opened, all three of them. They have entry points. Lua with the kill onto Shironeko. That's a big kill. Suddenly Crest, from a 4 versus 5 disadvantage, are now up 4 versus 3. And FAV are now scrambling over the dirt for Afro. Lua's waiting. What a performance from Lua on his new team, on his debut. He drops 15 onto the heads of FAV. This one does not go to 15 rounds. Lua says no. Crest get the win. Crest edge forward with a big result. 8-6 over a very comprehensive FAV who played really well. Solid game from both teams.
Well, it wasn't quite 15 rounds, but it may as well have been. It definitely felt like it. I think I aged a couple of years and grew a couple of grays throughout that match, but it was entertaining. And Crest just able to edge out in overtime, 8-6 scoreline. They started off as the better team. They let it slip. A couple of questionable decisions, especially objective-wise in that first half, but they were able to salvage it and managed to take home 2 points, which, look, in the